That's it. I'll give it a little.
We are live.
All right. What's good, people?
All right, let's get this started. Let me share this to the right people.
Is he going? Sit with that.
Our brother should be jumping on soon.
Oh, I didn't know who's jumping on to this.
Yeah, I told you that, man.
You told me for the game, for video games, not for this.
This too.
Okay.
The third.
All right, this is good. So we got the Lewis men in the house today.
Sir. Forward it to him again. Let's see. You know these millennials, man.
These millennials.
No sense of time.
Your ass comes on a little bit late too.
Dude, I was here 5 minutes early. 6 minutes early.
Yeah,
actually,
but you've been late a couple times. I'm just saying.
Once or twice. Once
Yeah,
or twice.
you come in like right at like 8:29.
No sense of time. Look, you know, I can do that. I can do that.
All right. So you watched it twice. Only I had time to watch it once, but I watched a couple of reviews. Definitely can't wait to talk about this. I don't know how you feel, but how much longer should we wait for your brother? Should you give him like a couple more minutes?
No.
Okay.
I told him I got send him the link. Let me see what time I send him the link. Just so the people know, because we're live right now anyway. So I send him the link at 8:13. So plenty of time. I'm not sure what's going on.
I sent that link out early. So
there you go. Usually you send it out.
All
like
right. So here we are. Welcome to the Targeted Podcast. It was supposed to be 3, but we're 2. We'll see if the third one like jumps in a second. But welcome. Thank you guys for being here. You guys could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us. You probably are anywhere in the world.
We appreciate that.
We appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that.
Okay.
So today, we're going to be talking about the Suicide Squad.
Well, you should know if I'm wearing the hat.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing the shirt, you know I'm in my DC bag today. My DC comic bag.
Yeah. So Nicholas, I know Nicholas, are you excited to watch this for this?
I am excited to talk about this. Been waiting for this.
Yeah. I mean, is that a roll of quarters in your pocket? Or are you just excited to talk about this?
Wow.
Topic?
First of all, you can't see my pocket. Secondly, I mean, no, I've been waiting for DC to redeem themselves with the movies. I mean, and I feel like they started doing it, right? You had the Zack Snyder's cut, Justice League. Which
I would say Snyder's cut is better than the original crap that it was. But I wouldn't say it's a total redeem, but whatever.
Here,
it
was better.
I'll say it's better than the first one. Yeah, we'll get into it in a second, though. I know you didn't like it the first time you watched it. So did you change your mind the second time you watched it? We'll get into that like later.
I did change my mind. I went back and watched the first movie too.
Oh God!
So I wanted to make sure that my feelings were fresh. For tonight's episode.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have to watch the first movie, but that's been burned in like my mind for a while. So, yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about that. Yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about that. So this is what we're gonna do. And I think my internet's freezing because I think your face is frozen on my screen right now. I don't know if I'm frozen yours.
Well, I think the people know who has the better connection at this point.
Whatever.
Because you're always.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're always freezing. There's always an issue. And this is a guy who, again, this is a guy who has invested quite a bit into some of his equipment, whereas I simply purchased an iPad Pro. So,
it's funny that you say that, because my on my work calls, like I have been just going nuts. Like it's been my VPN's been going out, my internet's been kind of going in and out, and it's really embarrassing. But whatever. Let's get into Suicide Squad. And before we start getting into what we think about Suicide Squad, I want to start getting into pretty much the first Suicide Squad, like what we didn't like about that, like why they felt the need to change, right? Some of the history behind that as well. And I think that helps you really have a more appreciation of this movie. So as you know, this is kind of the second Suicide Squad, right? So the first one is called the Suicide Squad, and this one is called the Suicide Squad, I believe. So I think
a lot of marketing dollars went into that name change right there. A lot of marketing dollars.
I was at the barbershop today, and they were talking about Suicide Squad. I didn't correct anyone, but they're just like, yeah, this is like a part 2 of the Suicide Squad. And I was like, well, actually, not really, but
it's 1.5.
It's a soft reboot of like the first movie, which was craptific. And part of the reason why it was like craptific was because like you can tell by the 2 trailers that came out for the first Suicide Squad, they were going in one direction and then they totally went a separate direction. So they had like if you see the first trailer of the first Suicide Squad, it's kind of a darker, more somber tone. And then the second one is like all like, music and blaring, and you can tell like Warner Brothers like really affected the movie, and they really wanted it to be like what they saw earlier with Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool, with that kind of music, that feel, almost that kind of Scott Pilgrim versus the World feel, right? With that kind of animation involved as well. And you saw that in and they eventually got what they want in Birds of Prey, right? With
I think that was the tone they were looking for the whole time.
Yeah, that was the tone they were looking for. That was the tone they were trying to change the first movie for. And you saw it again with this Suicide Squad movie. So this movie is a reboot. It's a soft reboot of the first movie, which had so much production issues and it just wasn't good. And it brought back a couple of the cast. Now I'm trying to kind of just Harley Quinn,
Rick
Flag,
Amanda Waller. You had to bring her back. Yeah, Captain Boomerang. Waller.
Yeah. So right now we're not. Eventually, I forgot to tell you, we're gonna get into spoilers later. But right now we're just kind of giving you the overall into it. But yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? They couldn't, like, Warner Brothers wanted, they just changed direction on what kind of movie they wanted. So they kind of wanted, David Ayer thought was going to make a darker tone movie. Warner Brothers kind of changed their mind like mid-second. Looks like your brother is waiting to get in the room now. So
all right, you should make him pay at this point. There he is. There he is. Okay. So for those who don't know,
y'all hear me?
We're good, man.
I can't hear y'all. Hold on one second. I'm having sound issues. Let me just fix this on. Fix this going on.
We got another Sahid over here. It's too much equipment. Not really sure how to work it all. Struggling.
Fucking guy. Damn. Right. So you good, Travis?
Is he good?
Yeah, we good now. We good. Can you hear me?
All right, cool. Yeah. Cool. So we got 2 Lewises on the phone. All right. So we were already mid into like our Suicide Squad. I'm assuming you've watched the movie, Travis, right?
Yes, of course. Saw it immediately.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you guys what you guys thought right now I'm kind of going through some little spoiler-free things where we talked about the previous movie. We talked about who came back. And I actually saw like a review from like an interview from James Gunn, who directed this movie, right? And he was talking about how the characters like in this film weren't really like the actual characters, like in like comic lore, like Bloodsport, like that wasn't his character, right? That's not how Bloodsport like is in the comic books, and there's no Ratcatcher 2, right? So, but I kind of like how they kind of made their own spin on this too. Also, rumor has it that they wanted Idris Elba to play Deadshot, which Bloodsport was kind of like a Deadshot spinoff, if you think about it, like how it was portrayed in the film.
That's what it felt like. That's exactly what it felt like. Like with it felt like as though Deadshot was the Will Smith replacement. Yeah, and but he trying to keep that same character theme. So instead of Deadshot, they just went with Bloodsport instead. And
so what
they both had daughters.
Yeah, exactly. But what apparently
at first I thought it was Deadshot.
Yeah. What apparently happened though was that Idris Elba, he didn't want to replace Will Smith's character. That's what the rumor was, right? Mm. So he didn't want to just have like another black man just replacing his character. So they gave him Bloodsport. Bloodsport in the comic books is a huge conspiracy theorist, right? So I'm kind of happy they didn't go with that in like this movie, because we have those problems in our society now with conspiracy theories. But yeah, that's kind of the overall with Suicide Squad. But so let me ask you guys what you think just overall in the movie, and try not to include spoilers. We're gonna start breaking down the movie like afterwards, but just tell me what your overall thoughts on the movie was.
Yeah, I can go.
Well,
I mean,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. No spoilers. We don't want to spoil anything for the audience just yet, even though we're going to spoil it a little bit later. We're going to do it later anyways, but just so y'all know, it's a warm up.
10 minutes.
Right? I thought overall the movie was pretty good. Like when I was thinking about it, the main thing that had me tripped out was just when I first got in there and I'm watching Idris Elba, it was just like, is this Deadshot? Is this Deadshot? But then they said his name and I was like, Bloodsport. And I actually had to go back after the movie and I was like, I got to look up Bloodsport because he was sure acting like Deadshot. Like it was like, got your daughter, you got all this other stuff going on. I'm like, and then maybe started thinking
about how well he shoots people, right?
Yeah, like, exactly. I'm like, his skills,
that's Deadshot.
Yeah, it's Deadshot. He's like in this little competitive thing with the Peacemaker character, which was played by John Cena, which I thought John Cena did a pretty good job with the character. And it's just like, yo, what are they trying to do? I guess they're trying to just ease the audience away from the Will Smith character. You know what I mean? Like instead, like it's Bloodsport. Okay, you're used to Deadshot. We're just gonna kind of give a similar background, but we're gonna try and make it its own original character. That's the feeling I got from it.
I have theories on that. Well, when we start spoiling it later, I'll tell you what I think as to why what's happening. But okay,
yeah. But overall, I mean, the movie was good. It's not like the best superhero film you've ever seen or I've ever seen, but it's not like the worst. It was just something in between. It had like that not quite on the same level, but that Guardians of the Galaxy feel for me. In just terms of like the fun factor behind the film itself, it wasn't it's serious, but it's not serious. You know what I mean? Like it's just real fun. Like they didn't feel like they were constrained by the weight of a Batman character or a Superman character. It was, hey, most people don't even know who these people are, so we can kind of do what we want to do type of deal. And I always appreciate it about the Suicide Squad.
That's actually well said. Well said. All right, Nicholas, what do you think?
No, I agree with pretty much with what he said. I watched the movie twice. The first time, it was late. I'm just hoping that it's good. It's going to keep my attention, right? Yeah, I had a couple drinks, but it didn't really get me the first time. I was like, I laughed a lot actually in the movie. I thought the writing was very well done. But after that, I was like, it's kind of corny. I don't know about this, right? Mm-hmm. So then I went back. I was like, I have to give it another chance when I'm a little more up, right?
Yeah.
So I go back and I was like, you know what? Before I watch the second one, let me go back and watch the first one again, right?
Yeah.
And so I rewatched the first one and my opinion doesn't change at all. It's like, I thought the first act was great. And then after that, when they started fighting like the bubble people or whatever, and you had Enchantress and everything, I was like, all right, it's terrible now, right? So then I watched the second one like right after that. No, I watched the second one the next night. And now I was like, okay, I kind of get what they're going for. It's a much lighter tone. And again, like the writing really gets you right, because the jokes, if you're paying attention, like you're going to be laughing like all through the movie. And I felt like they were kind of definitely copying Well, I won't say copying, but it had the same tone as Guardians of the Galaxy.
The director is from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Even
James Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
But I mean, even to the point where like I feel like you could say Peacemaker was their Drax, right? Because he just says like stupid stuff. But it was funny. It's like super literal character, or whatever, right? Yeah. Bloodsport, like I mean, his storyline was pretty much the same thing as Deadshot. We'll use his daughter against him to get all this stuff. But then it was just like, as I'm watching it this time, I was like, yo, now this joint feels like the Suicide Squad, because people die.
Yeah. First 15 minutes, that was nice. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So I will say this. I like the movie. It took me a while to get into the movie. Like it took me like maybe like a good like 15, 20 minutes. So I even paused the movie like when the first person died. It was like at 9 minutes. Someone's like headshot.
He got his face blown off. That was the first guy, wasn't it?
That was the first one. I was like,
a little bit of a spoiler, but but no. I actually like the movie. And as we talked about earlier, that's what they're going for. They're going for that Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or Baby Driver, where they have like a lot of music in the background to kind of help drive the story. And to kind of have that fun feel, but at the same time, they had like a lot of seriousness. It got really serious and like darker at the end. And I felt like with DC, what they do is that they like recently, so after like the Christopher Nolan like kind of darker films, Nicholas is gonna hate me for this, like they kind of got confused from like between dark and like morbid. Right, like some of their movies. So like in the first Suicide Squad, like Amanda Waller this always bothered me. She like shoots like the FBI agents in the head. I'm like, why? Like, and it was like a very
zero sense to me.
It was a very try hard movement, like a try hard. Like I need to show that I'm a badass, so I need to just shoot people in the head, right? And now, by the way, spoiler alerts, starting now. You can show how gruesome that she is when she kind of sent one team to freaking get to. Diversion, right? So
stay on mission.
Yeah. It shows that how she sacrifices one team, right?
Yeah.
For like
they mean nothing to
her.
her.
That shows a level of intellect, right? Like she probably Black Guardian was the Pete Davis character that got killed like in the first in 9 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So she probably like fed him information for like that army to like show up there and like sacrifice them, right? So it's actually a really, really good movie. So I liked, outside of the first movie that just looked like it was bloated, like it felt like every person needed to have their own screen time. Like I followed the storyline of this movie so much better, right? Even like with Ratcatcher 2, like they came in a little twist with like her and the relationship with her father, right? Which is a dynamic that we don't really see a lot in movies, or like normally when the guy says like you have daddy issues, she goes, I have no problem, like how much I love my dad, right? Which
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you talked about how it's a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Like I thought so too. So I thought King Shark/Nanaue was a mixture of Drax and Groot.
Oh yeah, I just saw Groot.
Yeah. So he was very literal. Like he was like hand, which is actually pretty funny. He was
reading the book upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean he's like that, the comedy relief character. And that's where, you can tell it's a James Gunn movie, because he is kind of using some of the old characters. And that just leads to the thing, like it makes me wonder about what DC's direction is, because sometimes you get the feel that they're just trying to copy what Marvel's doing, and then they'll do something completely different and like push out Joker, and that's the. And I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but it's like DC doesn't have like a strong continuity between its movies. Like if they're just their own standalone things.
They don't want that though. They stated that, right? Now
they tried.
They tried and failed, right?
Yes.
But they failed because they got in the way of the director's vision, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like they stopped doing that, and now they're kind of like the place where like, hey, you come here, you have your vision, we let you do your vision. That's why they hired James Gunn real quick. That's why
they hired James Gunn is because they wanted a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So we forgot to talk about this. So James Gunn, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy 2, got fired because he said some really effed up stuff. But he said it 10 years ago on deleted tweets.
I'm kind of over people digging up tweets from like 10 years ago saying you're a harmful person. Stupid.
Yeah, we talked about this like cancel culture, right? So if there's a problem with cancel culture, I don't think there's really a problem with it, but that would be it. That would be my problem, where you dig up 10-year-old tweets of someone that like we've all done things that we regret.
Of course.
Right? There's a difference between like you digging up some mess up things someone said in the past who they clearly don't think that like that anymore versus Gina Carano saying effed up things on Twitter right now.
Exactly.
Right? That's
exactly.
That like you deserve to be canceled. Like that's the difference between you saying that 10 years ago and you saying that right now, right? You should know better now, right?
If I can be fired for doing something stupid on Twitter, then so can you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what your vocation is, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but Travis, to your point, I think you make a good point. One of the reasons why it took me a while to get into this movie is because with DC movies, they have different tones, right? Like in Disney, they have a template, right? And
Disney had a plan.
Yeah. Well, they have a plan. But we joke about this too. It's like they have like a template of how many jokes they need to tell in a
but I think that's a kind of a drawback. I mean, there's a sameness to the movies. There's
a
formula. There's a guy that there's always the character that you root for, the everyman character.
I don't know. Are you anti Marvel? Are you?
I'm not anti Marvel.
Yes, you are.
It sounds like you might be anti Marvel right now.
I'm not anti Marvel.
You've been on tape saying anti Marvel.
I like it. I mean, there is a formula to it, but it works.
It works.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. Also, I'm still watching everything they put out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously,
let's face it, Marvel's continuity has been better. But I would say this, even though they have a formula, right? They still so like Black Panther was a little bit of a break of the formula. It still kind of followed the same Marvel template of a movie, but it kind of broke it a little bit in terms. Even Guardians of the Galaxy again broke it a little bit in some terms. So they are experimenting out with it. Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier, like they went there in a lot of in some of their tone. Like they kind of went down and talking about a black man owning a shield. Like it's gonna be different, right? So that's a little bit of a break from their template. So I definitely appreciate that. But with like this, it took me a while to get into it because I'm not like, again, I think Travis, you made a good point. Like the continuity isn't there. They don't have that template. They're still trying to figure that out. I also think they're gonna try to reboot the whole thing with like the Flash movie. So we can talk about
that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that like much later.
But
I
got a question for you.
I want to talk about Nawe right quick. Comic relief character. I liked him, but he was kind of useless. Like in the movie, like I don't know what he did.
Think so. That guy was taking people out, man.
I mean, yeah, he was killing people, but so could like Bloodsport. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did like the back and forth with Bloodsport. I love the storylines with all the characters. Again, it felt like it made sense.
Well, let me know when we can do spoilers because there was one thing I didn't like.
We'll start getting into the spoilers. I liked how it showed Amanda Waller
Spoiler alert.
gruesome. Yeah, Amanda Waller was actually gruesome. She wasn't like try hard gruesome, but actually gruesome, which I can appreciate. I think it's funny. So we're going to get into spoilers now. So pretty much every member of the old Suicide Squad is dead, essentially, right?
Yeah, pretty
much. That's what you know how to, except for the Harley Quinn character, because they're not letting her go. Like she's like, blonde, attractive Australian actress. Like,
Harley Quinn's too popular. I just can't see them.
You're right. She's an A-lister. Yeah.
And I was surprised about Flag though. I didn't expect him to lose.
I was shocked.
Yeah, that shocked me. That's kind of when it was kind of getting a little dark there.
I did like the little fight scene that they had though. I thought that was pretty good.
It was a single shot fight scene too, I think too, a little bit, right? With like the fight scene, they're showing it like on like their on his helmet, which I thought was like a pretty nice touch.
That was.
I liked a lot of the. So one thing I liked in the movie was they had their moments where they kind of connected with each other, right? Like at the bar, they kind of had fun and connected a little bit, right? Or where they're on the bus, like they connect a little bit. Like they kind of forced that in the first Suicide Squad so bad, and it was just very cringe.
Like I said, everything after the first act was terrible.
It was so cringe. The second Suicide Squad, I mean, I like the part where she was talking about how I loved my father, even though it was hard to love him, and talk about his his like addiction, right? They talked about how Bloodsport didn't like rats because of how his father used to punish him, right? I thought that was a really interesting parallel, because Bloodsport told her, it's like, well, don't worry, I'm going to get you out of here. And she goes, don't worry, I'm going to get you out of here, right? And one thing I thought was super interesting was at the end when they're going against Starro. So, spoiler alert. Well, it was in the trailer. Starro the Conqueror in the movie. And I kind of want to talk about him a little bit more too. She was summoning her rats, and then Starro like swung at her, and he like dove to like protect her. And then she summoned all her rats, and the rats like came and ate up Starro. And I thought that was pretty cool, because the rats were like kind of walking over him, kind of like a cleansing moment a little bit. Like it goes back to how we described his father. It's like how he punished him as having rats all over him. This is the same area, but it's kind of in a different case. You're with like your daughter figure here.
So speaking on the rats part real quick, because they did have a pretty good line in there that I liked. They said, if rats have purpose, then so do we all, right?
Yeah.
And it was like they talked about how rats are like, low life form, and obviously you're following a bunch of characters who are a bunch of low lives and with no purpose, they're just sitting there rotting in jail, and come to find out they do have some purpose, right? But I will say the one thing I didn't like about the climax, where all these rats come from. Like when I was first watching the movie and I saw that, I was almost ready to turn it off. I was like, this, and it just put a cap on my continued issue with the Suicide Squad movies. I feel like they have them fighting villains that they have no business fighting. Right? I mean,
yeah, I was about to say that's where I come from.
I summoned 10 million rats to kill this giant.
I can see there being a lot of rats on that island, though. I can see that happening.
But it's an island. Like I can see if you were in New York. No offense to anybody from New York, but that one little island.
I mean, I can totally see that. I would argue and say I wish she started that. She should probably start with that, right? Like why did that take you so long to summon all your rats, right? So
and when I saw and then they're supposed to cover like this whole giant monster, I was like,
so let me ask you guys this.
It gave me Suicide Squad 1 vibes.
Well, I mean, it's the other part too. It's like Starro, and I get it. It's for the movie, but like, if you know the villain, like rats do nothing to Starro, like nothing at all. Like Starro's invulnerable, basically. So it's like rats. That doesn't work. It doesn't work at all.
This kind of goes back to what we said earlier too, right? Is that a lot of these movies a lot of these movies, or what happened in the movie, it's like these characters weren't the same as like what they were in comic books, right? Like Starro, like I've only seen him like maybe once in comics. Actually, it was in Batman Beyond, when he was fighting against the Justice League. So I don't know if you guys remember that series.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Are you talking about
that's when I remember
the
Starro.
Justice League from the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, well, he wasn't in Justice League. I mean, it was the Batman Beyond series, and they were supposed to be like they were like a Justice League like.
He's made several. Yeah, he's made several appearances. I did like how they introduced him in the movie. Like it wasn't just some.
Yeah, he had been captured, which was good. It was good.
So I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, I liked how. I mean, I liked how they kind of showed like I was enjoyable like just floating in the stars or whatever. So I thought that was actually pretty dope. Which it reminded me a lot of when I first saw him in the first well in like that comic book version of Batman Beyond. So I thought that was actually really, really cool. Let's break down some of the characters. What do you guys think about Harley Quinn, like in this movie?
That was great. I mean, I think Margot Robbie kind of has killed that character. She kind of owns it. Yeah. They even said that scene where she gets the key to unlock herself. She did that herself.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty cool. That's amazing, actually. Like to do that,
grab it with her toes. I mean, good grief.
And to turn it, like that's nuts.
I will say this though. I will say this. I'm a little against. So in part of the movie, she's like, apparently she turns into this badass gunman. So I don't know where the hell that came from. Like, you know, where she's like taking down like the private army and like the guy at the stage, she's like boom, 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 just shooting everyone and whatever. It's like, where did all this come from? Like, how is she? Is she a Deadshot now? Is she like a female Deadshot? So where's all this? Harley Quinn, the character, is a gymnast and a psychologist. So you didn't really see a lot of this psychology. You did see some of the gymnast aspect of her, where she was like and trying to like and escaping. I thought what was really interesting is during that
scene. To be fair, they showed. I know you're gonna laugh at this, but they did show some of the psychology aspect of her in the first movie. Was when she was talking to some of the characters, she would be like, "Oh, you're a textbook, you know, blah blah blah, and you're this and you're that." So I thought it was cool. I had her break down some of the characters in the bar scene, and I think there was like a couple other scenes.
Yeah, but that scene was so pushed. Like the one scene was like, if you have a problem, you have a problem with letting go, but you like throw boomerangs or something. Like something about that.
Well, I mean, yeah.
What I did thought was interesting was that they so if you saw some of the animation with Harley Quinn when she was like escaping from like the palace after she like shot all the royal guards, you saw a lot of the animation change, and I felt like that reminded me a lot of like Deadpool at the end of Deadpool. The first Deadpool, like when like his girl like saved him, and it showed us like the singing or whatever, and like the little flowers and like things, and Deadpool's like doing this like sexual like signing towards his girlfriend Vanessa. Like when she was like killing all those people, like they were doing that kind of animation, and I thought that was out of place for a second until I thought I was like, look, that's kind of what's going on in her head right now, right? One thing I thought was cool. So I wouldn't even lie to you. I didn't originally like the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn character, like at all. But she's grown on me a lot. So
wow, I'm surprised to hear you say that. I thought she was great from the jump.
I mean, I didn't really care for her in the beginning, because I kind of felt that it was again a little try hard, but I mean, she grew on me with Birds of Prey, and I think I liked her a lot better in this film. So, I mean, I'm happy to see her like do more work.
Might be a Margot Robbie hater. It's like Nicholas and Marvel. Nicholas and Marvel. This might be what this is, man.
How am I Margot Robbie hater when I just said she grew on me?
Yeah, just because I mean, when we're thinking about the character Harley Quinn, and it's probably just a theme of DC, but like, yes, there's the psychological part because we know she's a quote unquote psychologist. We know those pieces, but I think a lot of people remember Harley Quinn for her crazy, quote unquote crazy factor.
Yeah.
where she's just doing crazy stuff. And I think Margot Robbie definitely exuded that.
Yeah.
The only stretch that I think was kind of there was actually, I take that back. I thought it was really well done where she ends up with this dude. I thought that the romantic part was kind of a stretch, but her assessment of I can't be with you and you got to die. That was like perfect Harley Quinn for me because it's not like, oh, I'm going to leave. No, you're going to die. I'm just going to kill you on the spot because you're, and it wasn't even on some like type of hero stuff. It was just like, no, you got to die because you're not for me. And I thought that was really good. I thought that was a really nice touch because that might have been.
I thought that was great too. I mean, I knew she was gonna like pop him, but the reason that she gave afterwards was like, I promised myself to like avoid red flags, and killing kids is a lot of red flags. By the way, killing kids, that's a theme in that show, in that movie, right? So Amanda Waller's characters were like her like subordinates were like, you were going to do something to Bloodsport's kids, right?
Daughter, yeah.
And Bloodsport's daughter, so that was a theme. Also, like they're thinking about killing kids, right? Like with Harley Quinn, and also like Starros, like they have kids there, like when the Starros like trying to destroy like the whole thing. So a constant theme. And if you also remember, James Gunn, when he got in trouble and was initially fired from like from Marvel, it was because he was saying something about kids. So I wonder if he kind of made that as a joke. I wouldn't put it past him.
You never know. Actually, this is going back to the writing, which I thought was excellent for the film. Mm-hmm. Every time they were in the little office with Waller, like her subordinates were hilarious to me. Like first she had the bet on who would die, and then you had they hit Waller in the back of the head, so they continue the mission. I mean, it was killing me, man. Like they were great. Yeah. And then the one guy was like, I am really great at my job. He's just like, pointing stuff out. Like I really like her supporting cast.
Yeah. No, I thought that was.
I think Travis froze up down there.
Actually, you guys have been freezing up on like me, like in and out for a while, but it looks like he's actually frozen because I'm looking at ourselves in the.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
Again, I'm the only one who doesn't freeze. I never freeze.
Whatever, dude. Did he freeze? Yes.
I never freeze.
Yeah. For guys who don't know, that's a Wakanda Black Panther reference.
If you don't know that by now, man, you can kick rocks. You need to go watch Black Panther immediately. Turn this off and turn on Black Panther right now.
Don't turn this off. We need the views. What are you talking about?
Well, come back.
Don't turn this off. Come back. Don't leave us. We need views. Yeah, so I also like the Ratcatcher 2, the Ratcatcher 2 character. So again, very different. Love like the whole father figure thing that she was going with, like with the Bloodsport. Again, it's different. So when she saw like a Peacemaker like kill, well, before Peacemaker kills like Flag, which I thought was shocking. I thought that
I was shocked. Totally.
I was shocked too. Like, I was like, damn, that's fucked up. But yeah, I was kind of sad too, because even though I didn't think the guy played a great Flag, which actually I would say this Peacemaker as his character was more like Flag, actually. So like Task Force X, if you've seen the Justice League Unlimited, right? There's like Colonel Flag and that, and he was a hard ass. He was essentially a Peacemaker character. So this Rick Flag was a little bit different. He was more empathetic. He was more empathetic about the cause for freeing, for democracy or whatever. And he was like pissed off, like when he found out that what's her name, Amanda Waller was playing him. So I thought that was actually a pretty interesting thing. What do you think about Polka Dot Man?
Again, this is somebody else I laughed at. honestly. Like when he woke up with the rash,
comic relief.
Yeah,
He's comic
I
relief.
fell on my chair. Yeah, he was like,
well, he was comic book relief. He was a little bit more than comic book relief. Yeah, they actually. So what's funny was, do you remember El Diablo in like the first Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was supposed to be like El Diablo, right? A little bit, right?
Yeah.
So El Diablo though had a more serious tone, right?
Yeah.
So he was like at the beginning of the movie, when they were being debriefed, like in the Bloodsport character says like we're all gonna die, and he looks at Bloodsport and goes, I hope so, right? But he also so he ends up dying, but he ends up being a hero at the end too, right?
Yeah.
What I thought was really funny was that he saw his mom everywhere.
Yeah.
Which
that was the thing. That's why I had to watch it again, right? Because the first watch, you doze off or whatever. It's like late at night or whatever, and I wake up. It's like, why does everybody look like this woman? Like who?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Like,
yeah.
This is. That's when I was like, yo, this is stupid.
Yeah.
So I had to read it. That's why I had to give it another chance.
I'm happy you did. I thought you were being too much of a purist, but you're just drunk. No,
I wasn't drunk. I was also tired. Remember, I get up almost every day at between 5:30 and 6, thanks to my children.
Wait. So let me ask. Where'd you guys watch these movies at?
Good question. I watched this movie on my couch.
My couch, HBO Max.
Okay.
HBO Max.
So
is talk this about it a little bit?
Yeah.
Because that movie didn't do well in the box office, unfortunately, for a lot of reasons.
You
guys,
HBO Max's same day. Come again?
You guys, you got to go to the theater. No, I'm kidding.
I'm trying to hear that. Like they knew what they were doing when they made that deal to release all their stuff on their platform. I was low key. I was kind of pissed about that. I was like, that was like the first piece of news about the movie. Like, oh, it only made however many millions of dollars or whatever in the theaters. I was like, who's going to the movies right now? Who's going?
Well, that's what it's all about, though.
Right. So I mean, but I'm saying it's about time they changed it up. Just like the music industry had to change up, you know, what it meant to be a successful artist once streaming started, right? It wasn't just about, I went platinum. You know, now it's how many streams. It's going to be the same thing with movies. It's not just, you made $100 million the opening weekend. Now you got to look at how many people streamed it and all that stuff.
So it's funny that you say that, Nicholas, though, because they haven't. So I was actually reading like an article about this, and they haven't adjusted yet. Like, so when they made this movie, they were still thinking people were going to be in the audiences now. Now they have to like change their strategy with budgeting and marketing, right? On like we're going to be in this pandemic for a while. We got 3 variants out right now. We got Delta. There's Delta Plus. There's a Delta Plus variant, by the way.
Is there really?
Yeah, there is. And there's a Lambda a variant and a Gamma variant. So we're gonna be fighting this for a little bit, and it's gonna affect the movie theater. So the movie theater industry is gonna have to adjust. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing another one. I loved the characters. I thought it was great. What do you guys think of Peacemaker, the John Cena character?
I thought John Cena did. I'll say this. I didn't like John Cena that much in the latest Fast and Furious. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I thought he did a better job in this one, where it was more enjoyable. Because I just thought John Cena wasn't good in that Fast and Furious movie. Like he's there, but it was just like, nah, he's still got a ways to go.
Got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's good, and but this should tell you something about John Cena too. Because I'm assuming his role, again, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming his role in Fast and Furious wasn't a comedic one, right?
No, he was like, so I mean, he was playing as Dom's brother, which is the 9th installment, and they just pulled Dom's brother out of nowhere, and he's apparently been hidden away doing assassinations around the world, all that kind of nonsense. So he's a very serious character, and he's more of a
comedic actor.
Yeah,
that was my point. Like, if you look at him here, you look at him in, it's another movie he was in where he was, I think it was called like blockers or whatever. He was trying to keep his daughter from having sex on prom night. And I think he was in something else. But every time I've seen him in a role like that, like a comedic role, I thought he was actually pretty good.
So that's actually the funny thing to say that, because with Chris Hemsworth, right? So as you know, like the first 2 Thor movies were trash.
Yes.
And
wait, what? The first 2 Thor movies were trash?
I thought the first one was okay. The second one was not good.
What?
Are we out
like
of our
them?
minds here? What?
You like the first 2 Thor movies?
I thought the first movie was great. The second movie, Dark World, no, that one needed some work on it. But the first movie, yeah, it was a great intro.
We're in agreement there.
I would say the first movie was at best. I'll give it at best this, right? I'll even give Dark World an N.
No, you don't
right?
give Dark World anything. That shit was trash.
Yeah, it just Dark World,
trash.
But the first one, that was like Thor. Like that's what made Thor popular, was that first one.
Yeah.
So I think Chris Hemsworth, they figured out that he's more of a comedic guy, right? And let him like make more
I think
jokes.
he enjoys it more too. Yeah.
And he was way funny in the third movie, right? In the third Thor movie, right? He was better, right?
Well, the third one was a straight up comedy anyway. I mean,
it was effing hilarious. It was funny as hell. They had their serious tones in it, but it was fucking funny. And that's Chris Hemsworth is a funny guy, so let him be funny. I know he's big and blonde and big muscles and like abs and shit, but he's also funny.
Yeah. And that's what I said in terms of like John Cena. And it seems like that's the case with a lot of the professional wrestlers. They do better in those kind of dry humor type of roles versus some serious military dude. And they keep getting signed up for like the serious military action dude. And that's just not really their personality, you find out. Yeah, like they do better in the more comedy ones. I think that's why Rock's career took off, because he started off not in serious films. It was like more kidsy or just like PG-13 type films. It wasn't until he did that one movie where he was like the officer with the 2x4 piece of wood. It was based on like a real story that was kind of like semi-serious. But other times,
The Rundown, right?
Yeah, I think it was The Rundown. But other times
it was not The Rundown. That's
the other
movie.
one. Yeah.
That was a funny movie. I like The Rundown.
Exactly. It was intended to be comedy. He did the movie where he had like his daughter and stuff. And he had an interview actually where he was saying that's what he wanted to do in the beginning, was he wanted to do kids films first. And then I think when he did, because I love Fast and Furious. So when Fast 5 came out, I thought he did an outstanding villain role in Fast 5.
Oh, he was great. That was tailor-made for him.
That was a great movie. That was him. So we've made this joke. So we're kind of going on a tangent. But we've made this joke a lot with like The Rock, because he's playing Shazam, and I said this before. He's the same guy in pretty much all of his movies.
Yep. Will Smith effect. Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. So I don't know how he's gonna play like Shazam, like with a 5,000-year-old like slave.
Mm-hmm.
Like because he's the same guy. Kind of the wisecracking, super tough guy.
Yeah.
Like, and he's really dialed into his like this Rock persona, because the guy is just huge. Like, I saw him in Hercules. Freaking hell, he was freaking ginormous. Like, so that's just.
I mean, this for Black Adam. I mean, this is supposed to be like there's like no padding in the suit. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
I mean, which is fine, but for example, Shazam was a good movie, and the guy clearly had padding in his suit, right? So you don't have to be swole to be freaking.
I mean, based off that, like I could have played Shazam for.
Anyone could have played Shazam, but the guy had great comic relief. It was a great movie. So I can't wait for like the second one. So I mean, we went off on a little tangent there on that, because we're supposed to be talking about Suicide Squad, but
so with let's go back to Peacemaker, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously you saw the ending credit or post credits scene. He's still alive. They need him to save the world again, supposedly, and now they're gonna have the spin-off show.
Yeah.
So. I'm just wondering what kind of tone, what direction do you think they're going to take with that? Do you think it's going to be like a a comedic hitman type deal?
So
or I mean, is he going to fight the equivalent of the Enchantress? I guess it's before.
So I will say this: in his show that's happening, James Gunn is writing and directing it. He's like taking ownership of that. So I'm assuming it's going to do a lot of what James Gunn. So you're going to see a lot of what you saw in this film, right? I think this movie was good. So like Warner Bros. Is going to let him do him because that's what they want. John Cena is funny, so I hope they just let him be funny. But I also liked how he was like a little serious at the end too. I mean, it's amazing how like actors can change based off of like the movie and the directors, right?
Yeah.
Because like Travis, what you said earlier, like John Cena sucked in Fast 9. Like that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, I mean, I didn't watch Fast 9. Spoiler alert: apparently they go in space, which
they went over the top in that movie. But I mean, it's a Fast and Furious movie. They always just trying to do bigger, better, and whatever, you know. They're always.
I'm telling you, what's gonna happen is they're gonna race. Like there's gonna be an alien invasion, and Dom's gonna come up and be like, "I'm gonna race you for pinks." Like if I win, like if I win, you gotta leave the Earth. If you win, you gotta get to take over the Earth. Like that's what's gonna happen.
And look, the aliens are gonna be like, "Is it just you?" He's like, "I have my family."
Family.
So where are your friends, Dom? I don't got friends.
All I need is family.
Yeah. Oh my God. So it's. I'm not. We'll get into Fast 9 when it becomes free and available for me to watch. I'll watch it, and I'm pretty sure I'll hate it. But
yes, exactly.
Travis, I am
it's got its moment. It's got
honestly, if you want a good action movie, I highly recommend Mr. Nobody. Love that movie.
Mr. Nobody?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, have you heard of that one, man?
No,
you got to look it up. It's basically about this guy. He seems to be just like an ordinary family man. And as the movie goes on, you realize that he's like, you know, ex-special forces, what have you. But he kind of goes on a sort of a vigilante tear against some folks in the movie or whatever. It was good, man. Like way better than we expected.
Jared Leto?
Nah, it's hold on.
I've seen a Mr. Nobody film, but 2009. So it's just Jared Leto's the guy that's doing it. But yeah. Well, back to Suicide Squad. No, I mean, we spoiled the shit out of this movie. If you're still watching.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think all three of us, give it a very positive review.
Thumbs up.
It is definitely better than the first movie. Actually, my wife likes the first movie better. Actually,
I have no comment.
So, but again,
Will Smith.
I thought, like we were both like out of it. We put it on, thinking that it was going to just like blow us away, but we were just both too tired, right?
Yeah.
So I told her, I was like, I'll watch it again, and I'm sure your opinion will change.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I think things are looking up for DC, man. Like again, I feel like again, like you have this is now they're trying to position themselves as like, if you have a specific vision, you can come do it here instead of following the template overall.
Well, yeah, I think that's
you're not going to get Suicide Squad and Marvel. You're not going to get, you know what I'm saying, Joker at Marvel. You're not going to get films like that.
I mean, Suicide Squad is what a rated R version of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, but to your point though, Marvel. I mean, DC, like Disney will only go so far. Like, so Disney bought Fox Studios, right? One great movie was the last Wolverine movie was a great movie, but you're not going to see it on Disney Plus, right? You're not going to see Deadpool on Disney Plus, right? Because they're only going to go so far, right? Because they have their template, they have their brand, they have to keep up. So to your point,
that's a differentiator. You know what I mean?
Like they have this niche here where you can go farther. You can go there. Like as dark as they're gonna go with Disney I think it's gonna be Falcon and Captain and Black and Winter Soldier. Like that's pretty much as far as they're gonna take it, right?
I agree.
So DC has the opportunity to really kind of just dig in it. Like you have a freaking guy that had had drug problems, right? And you kind of showed that and how that kind of showed as a character, right?
Yeah.
You showed how so I thought the twist at the end with Amanda Waller trying to hide American government secrets is a great twist, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was actually really, really cool. This is also par for the course too, because America.
I feel like that's going to be something that shows up in the Peacemaker show too. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But I feel like her trying to hide that is going to show up in the Peacemaker show.
I hope it does. I think what I think is going to be pretty awesome though. So what's happened with so the reason for the Suicide Squad goes in is because they were friendly with the old regime and they got overthrown, right? Yeah. And they're not friendly with the new regime, so they're just going to destroy like any evidence of like what happened previously. This is kind of par for the course of what America's done in the past, right? So when I saw that, I thought like Shah of Iran, right? So America like supported this dictator, and then the Shah of Iran got overthrown by like the people. Now Iran like hates the United States forever, and even in South American countries, right? There's been American interference, right? Which is like destroyed their economy. So I thought that was actually pretty cool that they kind of brought that in there. I'm sure most viewers didn't kind of pick up on that, but
that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
That's kind of par for the course of what America does in these cases. So again, I mean, I thought it was really, really cool. So let's talk. We've been talking about this for almost an hour now. Let's talk. Like, what are you guys excited for next? Like in this
Batman trailer? Did we see that? Did y'all see that?
I've seen that. I don't know if there's one that came out recently, but that kind of seems like it came out.
Is there trailer? Is there trailers? There wasn't trailers in the one you saw at home, right? I assume. I don't remember.
There's the Batman trailer from DC Fandom. Now, was there a second one?
Yeah, there was. I don't remember because I didn't see the one from DC Fandom. But the Batman trailer they showed in the theaters for this second Suicide movie looked incredible. So I'm excited for that. Like,
I'm really excited for that too. So I do enjoy the darker, grittier tone movies. Like, so I liked how, like, so for example,
that's like, DC specialty, yeah.
Yeah, so like James Bond-ish, like the later movies, like what's the Skyfall was like a darker toned movie, right? And even like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, darker toned movies, which is what
that's what put DC on the map in the first place. Yeah, that's what put DC on the map in the first place. Was those darker toned movies like Dark Knight?
Yeah, the Dark Knight put him on the map. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It did. And then they tried to replicate it again, and it just didn't work. So that's why
they try to copy Marvel.
Now,
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a copy of a Marvel. I would say that it's a different. They're trying to so that Deadpool-ish or Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Baby Driver, those type of films. That's what they're trying to emulate. So a lot of the animation, a lot of the music in the background. So
I love Baby Driver. I thought that was an awesome movie. Love that movie.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Edgar Wright. So those Edgar Wright type movies, Edgar Wright also did like Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Underrated movies. Yep.
Yeah, another underrated movie. So like those type of movies where you see a lot of like alternative music in there, as well as like animation. So I think that's what they're trying to do. But
so I'm looking forward to The Matrix 4, because The Matrix is my all-time favorite movie franchise.
We can do non-DC movies.
Let's do DC movies.
Oh, we say DC. Okay.
Yeah, DC movies.
Well, yeah, I mean the Batman. I am looking forward to Black Adam. Love it or hate him. I mean, if the Rock does it right, then he'll blow it up. You know what I mean?
It has the
I am looking
opportunity
forward
to
to
be
it.
a great movie. But this is kind of what scares me a little bit too, because I was also really excited for Batman v Superman. I was super excited for the first Suicide Squad, and I was just super let down. So, like, DC kind of has me on like edge a little bit.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean they're
Edge.
all over the place with their quality. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't blame you for saying that at all.
yeah,
But the new Batman looks good, and I really liked Aquaman, so I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the second one of that too.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
forgot
this
about Aquaman. Yeah.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. I'm curious about what they're gonna do with Flash. So I think what they're gonna do with Flash, that movie, is they're gonna try to pull a. It's gonna be the
Some
Flash
sort of
paradox.
Flashpoint paradox.
Flashpoint
Yeah.
paradox for sure. I'm kind of liking with some of the characters I'm seeing there. So they have like a Mexican, or I think Hispanic, Supergirl. I'm not sure if he's Mexican. Forgive me if I
Yeah.
messed that one up. But Hispanic for sure. So I think that's actually pretty cool.
I think what I'm going to
think-
be. I think one thing I'm going to be upset about though is, I mean, and I guess it's about time for them to do it because there's been so much Batman movies. I think they're going to try to go like the Batman Beyond route coming soon because of they have Michael Keaton as the aged Batman, and supposedly this is Ben Affleck's last turn as Batman in this movie.
Yeah.
And then supposedly the Robert Pattinson version of Batman is its own thing. So I feel like they're going to do Batman Beyond. I personally, I would rather have the Batman Beyond thing be its own deal and have them have a Batman in his prime. Like, I've said this before, like, why do they always have to like push that guy off or make him old or make him something wrong to where he can't quite work with everybody else? Like, obviously there's precedent for it in the comics. And that's the interesting thing about the character, is that for as much of a loner as he claims to be, he's actually built himself up quite a family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just get tired of them trying to push that guy off into his own little thing. So I'm hoping they find some way to connect the Robert Pattinson thing.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned about what about Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
Yeah,
we're excited about that one, right?
He needs to freaking fight Black Adam though. So Shazam: Fury of the Gods comes out in 2023. Like, I looked this up.
God.
So you have Black Adam next year, Shazam: Fury of the Gods 2023. Then, and supposedly like Black Adam will not be in that movie, right? That's what I heard. So so based on that, okay, maybe the next Shazam comes out 2025. I mean, I hope the
Rock is like 60,
do it, right?
He can. Like 60.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, y'all wasting this man's potential. Get him in the movie. Everybody wants to see him versus Black Adam and Shazam. Sprinkle in a little Superman, right?
Yeah, I think what's happening is that they're a little concerned. They don't know how well Shazam's gonna do, so they're trying to be optimistic, and they don't want to like shoehorn him in the rest of the movie.
That's the studio meddling once again. Like,
so
about them dollars.
Never mind. Shazam was probably after Wonder Woman. It was probably your highest rated movie. As far from DC Universe.
That was a really good movie.
Wonder Woman 2 or 1? Because it couldn't have been 2.
Wonder Woman 1.
Wonder
Woman 2 wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't great.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh,
1984 was bad. It was a bad movie.
I disagree.
It wasn't bad.
It was painful.
It was just something about it. They had a little too much in there for me, and the climax wasn't quite. The climax just ended up being her kind of just like.
Y'all like the fight scenes?
Slumped up against the wall.
So
they could have done better. They could have been better. But I mean, look at the Black Panther fight scenes too. Like Black Panther versus Killmonger should have been epic, but it wasn't.
Yeah, agreed. It's sad because the first fight scene with Black Panther versus Killmonger was actually better than the second one.
Because it wasn't all CGI.
Right? But back to like Wonder Woman. So here's kind of like my beef with like Wonder Woman 1984. I don't think it was a bad movie. I watched it twice. I can see why people think it's a bad movie. There was a huge part of the movie where there's like no action because they were just doing like kind of like what they did in the first movie with like Steve like whatever was it Steve? I forgot Steve Trevor. That's his name. He came back and they were doing like the montages of him like looking around and like trying to dress up, and it was just like, let's get this over with or whatever. Also like the monkey.
I actually thought that was valid. It was some of the other stuff.
I thought it was too much. I thought we didn't need the whole like shebang. Like okay, do like a dressing montage, but we don't need to see him like walking and confusing like a trash can to be art, right? So
yeah, I'll give you that.
That's not necessarily. I didn't like what they did with the bad guy with Chitara. Like Chitara is the epic. That is Wonder Woman's main character. Like
her name
is
Cheetah. Her name's just Cheetah, man.
I thought it was Chitara.
Chitara's on what? Chitara's on with the Thundercats.
Oh, it's Thundercats. My bad. Yeah, no. Cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no. So yeah, Cheetah. So yeah, but okay, she's supposed to be the big bad, right? And she just like how she turned into Cheetah at the end didn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever. Whatsoever.
Yeah. There were so many plot holes in that movie. Like it just.
I did not get it.
Mm-mm.
But outside of that, I didn't think it was like terrible. Like I thought it was like the first one was really good. This one was a little bit.
It was.
So
here's one thing. One other point I'd like to make too. I think if Warner Brothers is smart, they'll have whoever's running the animated studio talk to whoever's making the live action movies. Because when you look at the Suicide Squad movies, for anybody who's seen the live action movies and was like, it's, I don't know, whatever, go watch the animated movie. It's like 1,000 times better. They did in 75 minutes what, the first Suicide Squad movie could do in, over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which is tell a good, succinct story with, a number of characters. They even throw in Batman and Joker.
Creative freedom. That's what it is. Creative freedom with the animated movies that they don't have with the live action.
I would also argue too that in like cartoon movies, our expectations are different, right? There are more for a niche audience as opposed to like Suicide Squad is for more it's more for everyone. It's like if you're gonna watch the cartoon Suicide Squad, you probably already know who these characters are, right?
Not true. I didn't know who what was that one character?
You're a comic book fan,
the Black Spider or whatever. I was like,
you're a comic book fan though. You're a comic book fan. You knew most of those characters, right? So you're not going to be like those guys that like those guys I heard in the barbershop today. Were like, oh yeah, the new Suicide Squad. Like, I mean, it's good to see like these bad guys, and like it's kind of a part 2 of the first movie, and it's like it's for.
But the point is, they got the gist of it. I didn't even when I watched the cartoon movie, I didn't necessarily know all the characters right away either. Like I was Googling some of the, I was like, who is this?
Yeah, but
same thing with the movie.
You're more into the comic books though, Nicholas. That's that you can't expect someone who doesn't know much about the these heroes to know those characters or to even want to Google it, right?
Right.
So
but my point is that's why as someone who knows the properties, I would say, you thought the 2016 Suicide Squad was terrible. Take an hour and watch this animated version. I guarantee you it's way better.
Yeah, they have a lot of really good ones. I think that animated movie was what was it? It was Batman in Arkham Asylum. That what it's called?
Yeah, Assault on Arkham was what it was called.
Assault on Arkham. That's what it was. Yeah, that's a really good movie.
I
actually watched one recently. Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. I thought that was actually a really good movie.
Yeah,
as well.
It did, and I think the other part about it is the fact that when you're comparing the animation to the live movies have real name actors that they can attach to it, and so I think that's where you start to get the downfall of the live action movies, because that's when those agendas start to kick in. Like,
fair enough.
I mean, you look at it with the original Suicide Squad. Will Smith wanted to play a certain type of character, a certain type of role. You gotta work with his schedule, stuff like that. That dictates a lot of the story and the writing of the producers and directors. Where in the animation, it's a bunch of actors that might have familiar voices, but they just don't got the same pull as a Will Smith. So they're more conforming up to the creative vision of the producers. So you get that better story that's told. You just don't, and you don't get like the Will Smith version of that story, which Will Smith is a great actor, fantastic. But when you get like those AAA name actors, they have a tendency to really shift the direction and the screenplay and the writing too much. And I think that's one of the beauties of Marvel, is the fact that they somehow found actors that were willing to play those characters kind of to a T. Like with Tony Stark, for example, Tony Stark is synonymous. Like you just know what I'm saying. And that is something that I think DC has continuously struggled with. It's just getting those.
I agree with that. 100%.
Those actors that become synonymous with those characters. Is just like they're like interchangeable parts right now. Where they're just kind of funneling the newest actor, and they really need to work on that, because they don't have that problem with the animation, and that's why the animation is so good these days.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think they kind of found that with Harley Quinn, with Margot Robbie a little bit. Like, so when you think Tony Stark, you think Robert Downey Jr. for sure, right? A lot. I would also like argue a little bit too is that a lot of these characters, like for like Marvel, a lot of those actors weren't like super A-listers prior to doing their Marvel movies. Like, they became like super A-listers afterwards.
Exactly.
Like maybe Robert Downey Jr. was kind of a bit of an A-lister, but
him and
a
Samuel,
lot of those guys,
a
lot of those guys, like Scarlett Johansson wasn't like on that level yet. Chris Hemsworth definitely wasn't on that level yet.
Chris Evans,
Chris Evans was
Speaking of Scarlett Johansson, you know how she sued Marvel over her contract dispute. I read something that said DC put something out to try to woo her over to their side with the role.
Of course,
they should get her for. Get her for what could she do? What role would she play?
Why not? We got Idris Elba. We got James Gunn. I forgot to mention this too. There's Taika Waititi was obviously Ratcatcher 1 inside the Suicide Squad film. Also Mantis, the woman who played Mantis
she showed up in the movie.
She was in this movie too. She was she was like a songstress in the club or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
but I think
why? Let's get her.
I think ScarJo could play if they ever do this Green Lantern show on HBO Max, she could play Carol Ferris.
Yeah. Oh, she can play.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think she's gonna try and play, now that she's done Black Widow. She's gonna want to play like a mainstream female character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they could make.
a lot of people, when they're done with these comic book movies, they're done, right? Like Chris Evans is probably not going to come back as like, another comic book.
He already said it. He was fed up with the schedule. He didn't want to come back. He's done with it.
Yeah. So also, who's the woman that played it, Mystique? Damn it. See her.
Talking about the Hunger Games girl.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Jennifer Lawrence. That's her name.
Yeah.
So she was done. Like after her like last Mystique battle, she was done because she just hated like all what she had to go through to play that character. So it's a lot playing these comic book characters. Like the schedule is like demanding. There's a lot of schedule on like your body. Like Chris Evans having to play Captain America is not Bautista. His Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is his last go as Drax, because like he said, he's going to be in the 60s and he can't keep taking his shirt off, right? Like,
yeah.
Is that true?
That physique for forever, right?
Didn't he just do a new Netflix movie? It's like this Netflix film where he was like, I can't think of it, but he had said he wanted to do Gears of War next. I saw an article about that.
Oh, he would be perfect for that guy.
because he said he came
But
in.
I think he's trying
to
to do less stuff where he doesn't have to get jacked as much. I mean, he's still a big guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's trying to change it a little bit. Yeah.
But funny thing about Dave Bautista is that apparently they offered him, this is what I just read somewhere, so this is probably fake, but apparently they offered him to like be in a Fast and the Furious movie, and he says he turned it down because he says he only wants to be in good movies.
That Netflix movie he did just recently, he's like this military dude. It was not good. It was not good.
Yeah. I need the name of it. I forget what.
It was almost like remind me like a Resident Evil movie, but it's not.
Army of the Dead.
Yeah, isn't that him?
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, Army of the Dead, Scott Ward. That's came out this recently.
But yeah, if he did Gears of War, that's him. That would be him.
Yeah.
Marcus Phoenix, yeah, that'd be him.
Yeah.
Question.
I mean,
as long as it's better than Doom.
And that's a Rock movie that didn't do well, right?
Hang on, that man turned Jumanji into like a big time movie franchise. So
yeah.
And I think the Jumanji movies were great. So
yeah, I'll give you that. I didn't see. I haven't
watched the second one yet. The first one was really good. I
think the second one is funnier than the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to check that one out. I will have to begrudgingly watch the second movie. I begrudgingly like the first movie because I thought it was. I went in that movie thinking it was gonna be trash. And I was like, this is actually pretty good. It was actually a really, really good movie. So,
and this is the second one. The Rock had to do an accent for a good portion of the movie, and he actually did a really good job. No lie.
I'm gonna try to take your word for that because I'm gonna need him to bring this energy in Black Adam, right? I need to believe that he's Egyptian slave. Like that. And in some of the stuff that I've heard from him, I don't believe it. I'm sorry, I just don't. Like, have you seen like some of the little Black Adam stuff that he has on Instagram?
No.
He's talking about how he's jacked and how the balance of power is going to change. Speaking of Black Adam too, I'm looking forward to seeing Hawkman. Aldous Hodge, I like him.
I'm looking forward to seeing Hawkman. That's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to seeing Dr. Fate.
Yes,
I hope they bring the Naboo character for Dr. Fate.
When are those supposed to schedule to come out? Hawkman and Dr. Fate.
I think next year. I think it's next year.
They're all going to appear in Black Adam. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Because it's going to be like him versus the Justice Society.
Oh, he's going to crush them.
So yeah, I'm actually hoping for that to be like a really, really good. I hope they bring the Naboo character for Dr. Fate. So yeah, that's gonna be dope. Well, that's all I got. What else you guys got?
Nothing, man. I think we ran this one into the ground. At the end of the day,
I think we did.
I think DC finally made a good movie. So let's hope they can actually make a streak.
Yeah, they have a couple.
They can get on the streak here.
Yeah,
and make more than one in a row.
That's right. Start something new.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll bring it all together and bring the continuity together in a very intelligent way. Like I think they're gonna try to pull what the Fox studio did with X-Men with Days of Futures Past, where they're trying to like combine the old and the new. And I think they're gonna try that. I'm not gonna be against that. I'm just gonna be like, please be smart about it. Like, please.
Hey, if it results in a DC version of First Class, I'm all for it.
The First Class was great. Days of Futures Past was great. The movies afterwards were not great. Apocalypse and
Dark Phoenix. Oh my God.
Dark Phoenix. I did not watch Dark Phoenix. I was like, I'm just done.
I did, and they ruined it.
Yeah. They messed up Dark Phoenix twice.
Disney, right. Somebody needed to buy Fox after what they did.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I'm hoping like they bring like the mutants in Marvel like in a good light too. So we'll see how that works. But in terms of DC like movies, Batman, I can't wait to see that one. Black Adam, I'm hoping please be a good movie. Please be a good movie. Because it has the potential to be a great movie. Just with the character, I'm looking at the characters right now. It looks awesome. So
yeah, man. Tell me.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and call it. It's getting pretty late. It's getting past the Nicholas bedtime. So Nicholas, go ahead.
Ever. I know it's lights out in your dorm room over there. So
I wasn't gonna ask any questions. It does look like a dorm room over there. I wasn't gonna ask.
He lives at George Mason. Yeah.
Falling hard times, VCU's finest, George Mason's finest. Hey,
that's hilarious. Yeah, no, these white walls, man. I tried to decorate a little bit with like some poster there, but it's whatever.
Hey, but you got the fresh cut. You came out here because I'm slacking on my right now. So listen, I can't talk too much. You know what I mean?
I tried to get that cut today.
Yeah, you were ready for showtime today.
You gotta do it, man. We I shave.
Exactly.
I give myself a nice little lineup. So you gotta do it. You gotta do it, buddy.
Yeah.
What's under the cap though? What's under the cap? What you hide?
It doesn't matter. We're talking these two.
What's under the cap? That's what I want to know.
It doesn't matter.
He's trying to do so. He's trying to hide something. He said, "I shave." What's up here though?
I mean, he's getting older.
Oh, there's no grades.
Oh, he got grades.
No grades.
He over it. He over the grades. It just is what it is now.
you might see one or two. That's about it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy. We're not there yet. Don't worry about that.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and call it for the night, gentlemen. Thank you guys for having. Let me stop live right now.